Well, first and foremost, we're trying to build on the progress that we felt we made Saturday night. But the most important thing is that we have great energy, that we continue to understand that every game is its own mission, with the way teams want to play, with the way that they want to attack us. And the most important thing for us is to keep gaining confidence, keep gaining understanding of what it takes for us to be successful. I thought we made some major strides the other night with the ball movement that led to baskets. I think our ball movement's been pretty solid, but I mean the ones that led to baskets was really important. Now we've got to continue to make sure we're not only getting that ball movement, but that body movement. We've got to do a great job of cutting and moving without the ball. I think tomorrow night we'll see we'll see different defenses, but the defense that they run, the zone they run, is a little bit like an amoeba. It's out of a 1-1-3. It can look like a 2-3. It can look like a 1-3-1. The bottom line is it's very active and aggressive. They create a lot of steals and turnovers, and when you've got a couple of national leaders like they have with Duke Mundy in the steals department, and then Travis Bader in the three-point department, you have to be very cognizant of that. So this is going to be a great challenge for us on the defensive end to stop a guy that's getting 11 three-point shots a game, and not only what Bader gets, but what they get created from their offense. And then when they bring in number 13 Batesinger into the game, he's excellent as well. I mean, he's got Matt Roth numbers at 54% from three. So they're playing with confidence. They were on the road for their first 7 games and came back home, have had 2 in a row, won those games. They beat Ohio U, and Ohio U is an excellent team, and they beat them pretty soundly the other night. So they're going to come in with confidence. We have to have confidence, and we have to be extremely locked in to what we're trying to get done on the defensive end, which means our communication now, it's not up for grabs. It's not, well, I'll talk on the next play. I mean, the communication and locating Bader and knowing what they want to get inside and knowing how we're going to try to attack this team when we're with the ball on offense is very, very important. But the greatest thing that can happen for us is to have tremendous confidence continue to just expand because of the way we're going through these experiences, the way they're moving the ball, the way they're getting to the foul line, the way we're getting out on the break. We just got to continue to build on that. And if a team tries to take something away, we've got to understand that there's enough other things that guys can do individually and collectively that we don't have to get our head down like we did last week against Syracuse. We could just keep going and go to something else. And I think that's most important for us. And then truly stand with what the attack points are in a game. And if we have to adjust from there, we adjust. But going into the game, knowing that we want to be on the attack. We want to be aggressive on both ends of the court. We want to move the ball, get easy baskets, not settle for jumpers. We want to not give up open shots on the defensive end and take everything from there.
With such a young team, does it seem like it's clicking a lot faster for them because a lot of teams are throwing zones at you, but you seem to also be improving and attacking it?
Well, I think again, it's when we do what we're supposed to do. Last week, when we were at Syracuse, we did an excellent job of when we attacked with the game plan, we did a good job. We had their front line in foul trouble. We were getting the ball into the basket. I mean, when you're not, we're not a stealth three-point shooting team. Yeah, but you still got to have ball movement, body movement, make the next pass. But you also got to go to your strengths. And for us right now, it's being around the rim. It's getting into the foul line. But at the same time, being able to drive it and space it and do those kind of things. And so when you understand that that's what you want, that's really important. But then every defense is giving you some place where you really want to attack it. And it obviously ends up with being able to get second shots and being able to get open looks, being able to get layups or dunks if you can. But you've got to have certain attack points, and every defense gives you that. And but then being able to carry that out is really important. We're learning that. I wouldn't say we're anywhere where we get that as a team. But we're learning that, and I think because we're seeing so many different defenses, and it's not going to go against a much better defense than what you go against with Syracuse. So we learned some hard lessons there. We learn when we're doing the right stuff, good things happen. We learn when we get away from it, bad things happen. And the more that we can learn from that and move forward in these other games, the better we'll be.
Tell me, about the 17 assists, 11 turnovers you had, the ability to sustain that when you want to play as fast as you do. How hard is that for any team, let alone one that's
well, that's part of it. You've got to have you've got to be able to bite your tongue once in a while as a coach. You know, we want to push the pace. There's no doubt about that. But we want to take open shots. I think when you have a team and the way the rules are, you're making a big mistake if you're just out there settling for jump shots. And it doesn't matter how good your team is. I mean, you want to be able to get your defense set. Well, if you get to the glass and get layups, you get everybody back. If you get to the foul line, you get everybody back. I mean, you get to do those types of things. And I think what we did is it was Jeremy Hollowell opened the game with 2 assists. The third possession, fourth possession, he got to the rim on a drive, goes to the foul line. Those are the kind of things. We don't have everybody understanding that part of it yet. And some of it's understand it, some of it's confidence with shooting, but everybody can impact the game with ball and body movement. Everybody can impact the game with rebounding. And when you have that, then you've got a chance to really make strides and you can build from there. So, but at the same time, we get a lot of confidence from the running game. We get a lot of confidence, you know, we're not turning people over a lot right now and turning those into baskets like we were a year ago. That will come, even though in the Big Ten, you've always got national leaders in fewest turnovers. But the more aggressive we get, the better we'll be. It's like talking. You can't not talk on the defensive end and think you're going to be a talking team and player on the offensive end. Well, you can't not be aggressive on the defensive end and try to get turnovers and steals and then not come in and be on the attack offensively. You're going to make some mistakes here and there. It's part of it. But I think it's when we are sloppy and careless, or we try to be home run hitters. You know, that's when you can't bite your tongue. That's when you've got to be strong with it. But we're learning more about that.
What impresses you just so much about Bader? What makes him good as a shooter?
He never stops moving. He's like, you would definitely, I think he's the top returning three-point shooter in the country, let alone the leading one right now. He has got some traits of some of the Michigan guys in the past. He does a great job using his body to get open. He pushes off to get open. He shot fakes. He definitely knows how to set you up. He can change speeds. He can shoot it off either foot, which is a real strong trait for a great shooter like that. He doesn't have to be squared up to make a shot. And he's only a threat every time he has it. You know, he's one of those guys, if you relax for a second, it's going up. And the thing that he's added to his game is he moves without the ball so much better. I mean, he cuts back door. They have about 6 sets where he starts the action with at the point. But invariably it's going to end up back in his hands. And so I think the fearlessness, I think the fact that he's older, I think the fact that he's seen just a myriad of defenses and been covered a lot in multiple ways means that he's pretty fearless. And he's getting 11 attempts a game and shooting in the mid-40s. I mean, he is a high level shooter. But he's not alone. I mean, they do a great job of moving the ball. Their dribble drive offense is very dangerous. Their post-ups. Every player has certain traits that they want in this game to get to, and you've got to do a great job of doing your best not to let them get to those. And his is just letting him get free looks.
How much of a challenge is their big guy? I think it's Petrus.
Yeah, he's getting better all the time. He is a high-level player. I mean, he really is. He's just one of those guys. He can score. He can seal. He does a great job with his body. He loves for you to front him, and he loves to duck in. He loves for you to just be standing there with your knees locked and just, we call it a punch, but just duck you in and demand the basketball. He screens well. He's got the pick and roll game to him. He's in very good shape. He's good. They've got some high-level players. I mean, that's one of the reasons that ESPN chose this as a game for us, to have a non-league game in a sense where we didn't have a return game. I mean, they want something that's going to draw some attention. Well, this game, because Oakland, Greg's been there 30 years. He's a phenomenal coach, and he's won a lot of games, had a lot of different players, and does a great job of developing his players. And Petros is no different.
Back to Bader a little bit. You guys were able to kind of shut down Valentine with Evansville. Is there anything that you could take from that game, shutting down a really good three-point
Not
shooter?
really. A completely different player. This is a little bit of a better moving Cooney. And Cooney, the number one thing we didn't want to let Cooney do is get lost in transition, and we let him get lost twice. The great three-point shooters, and this is going to be a key to the game tomorrow night. Hulse was like this. Roth was like this. Steve Novak, when we had him, was like this. You can't let the great shooters get lost in the game. You can't do your job blocking out or one guy doesn't block out, they get an offensive rebound, and you're not within 10 feet of Travis Bader because they're going to find him. They know how to find him. And our mission with our team is to be as good defensively with our whole team in the last 5 seconds or last 10 seconds as we are in the first 5 to 10 seconds. And I think with a player like that, he moves so well without the ball, and he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands to create. He's very quick. He's a high-level player. He can play in any league in the country. I don't think there's any question about that. And they've got some other guys that are like that. So, to me, you just got to have incredible awareness of where he's at. You can't sleep on the other players, but you have to have incredible awareness of where he's at all times. And you can do a great job guarding their actions and their sets. You can do a great job getting back, but just that one time that you don't find him and you give him just a little bit of space. He doesn't need much time and he doesn't need much space, and he can shoot it off either foot. You know, sometimes with three-point shooters, they're more foot specific. He's not. He can get it off either foot, and he does not have to be squared up. And I haven't seen him in a long time, but I think he's a little bigger than even what he looks like on film, so he can rise up over top of you. So as we've told our guys, it's going to be one of the better shooting teams we're going to see come in here, and this is certainly as good a shooter. He's probably even, I would liken him to John Diebler, and our young guys don't even really hardly know who that is, but our older guys do, the few we have. And John Diebler was a special matchup in himself, and I would say that Bader's like that.
With Devin's injury, how far along is he?
That's going to be a game time decision. Maybe. I'm doubtful for tomorrow. So, or I should say I'm doubtful. Yeah, I'm doubtful for him for tomorrow. So that was just something that he re-aggravated the other night, a little bit worse. And we've just got to try to do the best we can. I mean, he's in triple sessions over here for rehab, so it's not like he's not trying to get it right, but that'll become Tim's call and the doctor's call. But I'm not holding out hope that we'll have him tomorrow.
I guess it's just a sprain then.
Mm-hmm.
Do you try to take a little bit easy too, because you guys have so few games before the Big Ten that even tweaking it again sets them that?
No, I don't think you think like that. I don't think it's one of those cases. I think you go day by day based on what it is. I think the moment you start holding people back, and this just becomes a clearance issue for him and your pain tolerance. But I don't think that. I don't think you put that in people's heads personally. And I think you just keep getting them ready. You know, you dictate. He'd missed some time going into Friday or going into Saturday's game, and but he was cleared. You know, he practiced the day before the whole thing, and he just tweaked it inside of the game. But no, what we're trying to do is make sure we're watching practices. You know, every week is long. We've got this is a very, very grueling week for them academically, as it is in most institutions. That week before exams is so hard. I mean, they were in double sessions yesterday, academically for the most part. I mean, they're really, really working at it, and this is the freshman's first time, so it's hard. You don't want to inundate them with so much, but yet at the same time, we're playing a very dangerous team who's very specific in certain things that they do. So you've got to pick and choose your spots of where you stay sharp. But when it comes to injury situations, you take them day by day.
You mentioned some of the other guys. Mondi, I think, is one of the leading
Yeah,
steals.
he is the leader, I believe. 4.2 a game.
What makes him as good as he is as a defender?
Quick hands. Goes for the ball. I would think he'd be the kind of guy you'd want on your defense in football, because he's one of those guys where they talk about, you know, coiling the ball. I mean, the takeaways, and he's just going for the ball. The ball would never be loose. You know, if he was going for the ball carrier as a running back or wide receiver, he'd strip a lot of balls, take them from him. He just reaches in and takes it from him. I mean, literally. And the other thing he's really good at is in their zone, he's got his hands up. He's very active. And there's certain places they want the ball in the zone too. And so certain places that he can take advantage of. But very quick and alert and fearless when it comes for absolutely going after the ball. And much like Victor became last year. You know, young Victor was a little bit too much of a reach and gamble guy. And the older Victor became just fantastic. I mean, at taking the ball from people. And Monday reminds me a lot of that.
Tom, what do you need to see more from, with Will? Where do you, can you assess where he is and where do you want him to be?
Oh, I think just build on where he's at. He's been, I thought he played well there, he just didn't get a lot of attempts. But his leadership and just being one of the best defenders in the country, not just the league, and setting that tone. And I think the thing that I always want to see, I just want him to see, I want the leadership to be always, not when it's good, and he's very good sometimes when it's bad. You know, he'll pick a guy up, but it just has to be always. It's truly like having it's truly like putting a coach on the floor. It truly is. That's not a point guard. You know, your coach has got to be an extension of the coach and have that mindset. Will's got that mindset, and he's so gifted at knowing, you know, the way the game should be played, what has to happen. He shows great teaching in practice for our guys, and what happens is that becomes a little bit contagious with some of the other guys. I'll see it from Yogi now and then. You see it from Austin. That stuff's really important, but I think for him is just to really, statistically, you've got to rebound the ball better. In his first 2 games of the year, he had 15 rebounds, or 16 rebounds in the first 2 games. So the rebounding's got to go up. Continue to move without the ball. Shoot the ball with confidence. Keep getting out on the break. But we're asking him to do a lot of things. And tomorrow night he's going to have a lot of things to do. But I think the biggest thing we can get from him is to help in real time during the game, make sure these guys that are learning so much about college basketball, learning so much about possession by possession, and learning so much about this guy wants this and this guy wants that he helps them with that during the game. And we're asking a lot, but I think he's capable of a lot.
Is that kind of the adjustment he's making? I mean, just for having to really just stop it from play to, not even stop it, but, you know, just talk to guys from play to play, basically. I imagine, you know, he's got it in him, I guess, but is it just kind of the constant sort of need?
I'd say that's the demand that I and that we have put on him, because he's capable of that. And again, you don't ever give anybody anything that they're not capable of, and you try not to put them in situations they're not ready for, but he's ready for those things. He's doing fine. He really is. He's got a spirit and an edge that many competitive athletes would be jealous of. Okay? Many competitive athletes. And he doesn't need to ever lose that. He doesn't need to ever lose that. And that's what makes him so good. Now, last year, the advantage he had is he could watch the game develop. And as a starter right now, that's not, he's got to be ready to go from the very beginning. And I thought he did a great job of working into that role last year where he came in, and again, that's why he was a 6th starter. I mean, you never really missed a beat when he came in the game. But it's hard, it's demanding position because there's so many young guys, but that's the hand we're dealt, and that's the hand he's dealt right now. And the more that he does with that, the better he'll be. But don't get me wrong, he's doing a very good job. It's just the expectations and the demands on him are very high because he's capable of it. But you don't reach greatness without having those high level of expectations and demands. Not on the outside, but on the inside.
Is it harder for him because he had to go through 3 years of kind of that 6th-man role, and then this final year?
No, I think it would be better for him. He understands the game. If you understand the game, you understand the game. I don't think that's a negative at all. I think I think he's a very cerebral player. I mean, we've made major changes offensively in certain aspects just to let him roam and play because he's so good at that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean everybody else can just roam. I mean, they've got to be in the positions where, okay, well, if he's here, you got to be there. I mean, there's just 1,000 things that go on inside of a game. And that's just a little bit of the reminders and things like that. But he's doing well. I'd like, the scoring would be good, the rebounding would be great. Because if the rebounding goes up, the scoring's going to go up. And getting him to the foul line and being very conscious of that. You saw that dunk that he had the other night. I mean, that was all out of, I mean, he just read, the man turns his head, and boom, he's there, and Yogi finds him. We can even go back to last year. There's a synergy between Yogi and Will long before they spent the summer together in Russia and long before this season. The synergy together with those two was incredible. I mean, it really was uncanny. Because Yogi finds people and Will moves so well without the ball. Well, you want other people to be able to do the same thing. And now those roles just keep getting bigger and bigger because they're capable. Again, you don't ask anybody to do anything they're not capable of. Will's capable of a lot.
You mentioned Victor. Your thoughts on how he's playing in the league right now?
I'm not surprised. I think it's always nice to see him getting credit, on a national level and inside these games for what he's doing energy-wise, for what he's doing defensively. You turn on the sets, and there he is guarding the other team's best players. I mean, kudos to them for knowing that he wants that challenge. And I think he's doing excellent. I really do. I think he's learning. And sometimes when he goes through the learning, he gets quiet. And my only advice to him is to not play quiet. He has an energy about him that's really unique. It's contagious. And even though that may not be what the norm is in that level, that's what got him to that level. And the more that he plays that way, the better that he's going to be. But I think for all that he's had thrown at him and the role that they would like him to play, they're doing a great job with him. I mean, I know the GM and the directors of scouting a little bit. I don't know the coaches, but I think they're doing a great job with him. And I think he's gaining confidence every day. And I think it'll be the same for Cody. Cody's just got to continue to be very comfortable, know that he's skilled, be decisive. He's being thrust into tough situations. He's going against not just grown men, but high-level strength, athleticism, NBA-level grown men. And that's a different deal. But I think he's handling that just fine, too. I think both of them are going to continue to get better and be big parts of their team.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.